Hello and welcome to this new edition of the Council at a Glance, the November edition. I'm Ghislain Forcier, Communications Manager at Town of Brome Lake, and I'm with Mr. Mayor Richard Burcombe. How are you, Mr. Mayor?
I'm very well, Ghislain. It's been a hard weekend since Thursday night, but we'll be talking about that as one of our subjects, and we have quite a bit on the agenda, so we'll get started, and let's go.
So first of all, let's look back at the situation of the last few days. As you mentioned, our area has been one of the most affected by a power outage.
That is correct. We had close to 4,000 that were without electricity for different periods and different time, but at the beginning it was 4,000. Some got on quickly back their electricity, others are still waiting. Yesterday there was 650 that were still without electricity. To this morning checking, there's 194 still left to be reconnected. That takes time because there's probably little pockets of only 2 or 3 people that are missing instead of, let's say, 500 or whatever. So it's a work, but I just want to also reiterate thanking and really congratulating the people that worked on this during this time. You know, our firefighters, the first responders, the public works who were, out early, very early in the morning. And also, the hydro people, they worked under conditions that were dangerous at times, especially on Lakeside Road with the wind and the 3 poles that were down there. And the wind coming off the lake at 100 kilometers was, it was very dangerous. And also, the people we thank all the time working on the scene and during this time, but we also, the unsung heroes we call them, the wives of, or vice versa, depending which, but the people that were at home and their partners or their husband or wife were out working, on the scene, and they were there at home for 18 hours, let's say, with no electricity, and and then they have to keep the house going and keep everything without electricity is quite a demand now because we're so used to it. But anyway, that's and we had example, a worker for the public works who was out working and on Friday, and when the wind really picked up during the day, and the tree fell on their house and broke 2 rafters, and it was a lot of damage, But his wife was home alone. So I mean, these are people that, the unsung heroes that we we congratulate, and they should be congratulated.
Yeah. Also, Mr. Mayor, another subject that generated a lot of attention was Halloween, which the Town of Brome Lake maintained as of October 31st.
That's right. I was at the MRC for a meeting, and the discussion came up at the end of our meeting. What are we going to do in the MRC? Are we going to postpone it to November 1st? And there was quite a bit of, talk about it. Finally, we decided, and most of in the MRC and, of course, Town of Brome Lake, that we'd keep it on December 31st. Because when you look at it, I mean, growing up as children, that's quite a while back for me, but I mean, we went out on Halloween in conditions that, yes, they weren't perfect, but it's Halloween, so we're going to go out, you know what I mean? The children today are so protected, and maybe for many reasons, but at the same time, Halloween is Halloween. We're not going to postpone Christmas because of this or that. Christmas is on the 25th. We're not going to put it off till the 26th. It just doesn't work. So, and I have to say it was a great decision that we did take when you look at what happened on Friday, on November 1st. So, and then without electricity in most of Town of Brome Lake right up till Saturday too. So it was a good call, and we're lucky it turned out favorable in our decision. But it was a good call for many reasons, like I stated.
Regarding police service by the Bromont Police Department, the town received a letter from the Ministère de la Sécurité Publique.
Yes, I received the letter on the 21st of October of this year. addressed to me as mayor. They stated that they were looking at the project that we had deposited, tabled with the Town of Brome serving us by their police force. I met with the Minister of Public Security in Quebec, Geneviève Guilbeault, the 13th of June 2019. And in the letter it states that, yes, be assured that we're looking at the costs, of police services in the province of Quebec. And of course, the cost goes with service. And the Town of Brome Lake pays at 1.9 million, and what we get in return is not the value of 1.9 million. But they go on to state that to pass a private bill would go against what the dispositions of the reorganization of the police services in 2000, when the Police Act was changed and amended. And so, but they also mentioned that our demand that we tabled with the Public Security Minister, they announced on the 24th of September that they would be looking at all the police services in the province of Quebec, how in what they're going to call the Green Book, which will be tabled in the month of December in the National Assembly. Following that, they'll have consultations. In that Green Book, they will be looking at our request, and we'll see what comes out of that Green Book. The last line in it says that in this context, we cannot give a favorable following to your request, so it is refused for the moment. So it's not that it's ended, it's just, so we're going to talk with Bromont, who's of course our partner in this request, and we'll see what we're going to do in the following months, how we're going to respond to the government of this letter that they sent to us.
Yeah. Also, Mr. Mayor, at Monday's meeting, a new civil security plan was adopted.
Yes, our first plan was adopted in 2000, basically our first plan. Since then, there's been the updating of the plan every 3-4 years or whatever. This is actually probably a new plan because there's certain things that were added to it that the civil security wanted us to do. Like all other towns, it has to be adopted by the 9th of November. So naturally, all municipalities will be adopting it at their council meetings this week. So that's basically it for us. But I mean, it's the procedures of alerting and the mobilization and the ways of the security for the people to protect the people and their property. When there's like what we had this past week in this the windstorm and the damage that was done. At the same time, last night we adopted a new alert system, which Ghislain, I'll let you explain.
Yes, there will be a new public alert system. We invite you to watch our Facebook page, our website, and you'll get updates on that, and in the next couple of days and in the next couple of weeks. And finally, Mr. Mayor, 2 projects were realized in the past month.
Yes, that's correct. First one is the glass container. I believe we're the 3rd municipality in the MRC to acquire a glass container. It's in the parking lot of the IGA. I'm sure everybody is aware where it's located now. And it's only been there approximately a little over 2 weeks, and it's already 3/4 full. So the people are really adapting to it being there and putting all their glass that is supposed to go in the container in. So that's great. The second one is Trestle Cove. Of course, that's been going on for 25 years, 30 years, and finally we were able to complete it. It started out, the first section of the bridge that went in, they had a problem installing and had to come back because the helicopter, the Korski, was flying on minimum fuel for weight. And so after adjustments and that, they went back. Once they got started installing it, the 4 sections or 2 bridges, two sections per bridge, were installed in approximately 3.5 hours. So It was great. I mean, and it was the comments that we've had are great. I mean, that people appreciate it. We had so many visitors the first weekend. When I was down there, there was 35 cars parked in the parking of Douglas Beach on the Sunday afternoon. So people were coming, and I asked them where they were from. Some Sutton, Cowansville, Granby, and some from the South Shore. So it's great, and it was in our strategic plan when the first council came in 2013, and we're sticking to our strategic plan, and we did it, and it's finally in. So the population is for you, and it's for all, how do you say, it's anybody, your age or whatever, anybody can use it, which is great. It's for all, the whole population of Town of Brome Lake, and for visitors that come also to Town of Brome Lake, so it's great.
Well, that's what concludes our Council at a Glance November edition. We just want to remind you that the next council meeting is set for December the 2nd at 7 p.m. at Centre Lac-Brome. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Well, thank you, Ghislain, and I just want to make a comment that I've had many comments concerning the 4 days from the day of the rain started, the wind, your communication with the town people on the town website, and your façon faire, and they were all positive, which is great.
Thank you.
But that's what we hired you for, right? No.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I just want to make sure, 2 other things I just want to mention, but thank you, Ghislain. Don't forget that the 10th of November is the brunch for the Lions Club from 9 o'clock till 1 in the afternoon. And of course, following that is at 11 o'clock is the cenotaph service for Remembrance Day in front of Knowlton Academy on Victoria Street. So I hope a lot of people show up in great numbers for both. And thank you, Ghislain.
Thanks for watching.
And thank you, yes, exactly, for watching, and enjoy. Thank you.